I wanted to come on here and discuss two individuals who I have never talked about on my channel. You probably don't even know who these individuals are. You may know who the woman is if you are a Star Wars fan, whether you are a hardcore Star Wars fan or a casual Star Wars fan. But in this picture is Kathleen Kennedy. She is the current, unfortunately, president of Lucasfilms, who of course was started by George Lucas, and Bob Iger is who the guy is next to her is now the former CEO of Disney, in which he just stepped down. But I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. I want to lead up into this. So I want to say it was Caressa McKnight who sent me the email about this story. And when she sent it to me, before I even opened it up, I said, oh God, please do not tell me that Kathleen Kennedy is about to be the new CEO of Disney. And sure enough, when I opened it up, I'm glad, sigh of relief, that wasn't the case. And what I did was I actually messaged the Grinch guy, because he is a Star Wars fan, and I played a little joke on him because he does not like Kathleen Kennedy. As a matter of fact, many people don't like Kathleen Kennedy, and I played a joke on him basically saying your worst nightmare has become the new CEO of Disney, and he thought it was Kathleen Kennedy. But then I had to say back to him, no, it was just a joke. It wasn't her. It's somebody else. But the reason why I'm making this video is because if y'all don't know, Kathleen Kennedy is a feminist, and trust me, I'm going somewhere with this right here. And I looked up her background. Kathleen Kennedy has been around for a while. She's actually been around since the 80s. Like, she used to be she was a producer for a couple of Steven Spielberg films, E.T. being one of them. I think she even knew George Lucas even way back when he was first starting out with Star Wars. So they have a history together. And as you know, George Lucas, the last Star Wars type film that he had his hands on, or anything Star Wars related, was the Clone Wars series. Not the the Clone Wars series. And then Disney bought Lucasfilms, and that means that all the Star Wars properties and everything like that. And then that's when they ushered in the new trilogy that started back in 2015. You know, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. And Kathleen Kennedy is the president of Lucasfilms. And basically, it was her idea to come up with a new trilogy for this franchise. And it's like, okay, bet. George Lucas said, okay, well, here, I actually have a blueprint that you can follow, to keep the story going, to, while it can have fresh characters, but still be relatable and connected to the original saga, episodes 1 through 6, which have been deemed as classics. I don't care what anybody says. I love the prequels, especially compared to this new trilogy. But anyway, Kathleen Kennedy, being the buffoon that she is, took one look at that blueprint and decided she was going to do her own thing. Her and Ryan Johnson, who are two peas in a pod, that literally are like, if you imagine, if you had to look inside their brain, there's probably nothing there but hollow air, like just nothing, just back. That's what is like in their heads right there. Took his blueprint and just completely revamped it. Those of you who have seen the new Star Wars films know exactly what I mean. That's why the Star Wars film, the trilogies, look the way that they do. And then they made the Rey character a Mary Sue. I've already told you what a Mary Sue is. It's basically a female character who doesn't go through anything. She all of a sudden just knows how to come in and do all these crazy things. She didn't have to do anything. She didn't have to go through the Jedi's journey. I can put it like that. And I didn't watch the last one. It's a good thing I didn't, because it's like they just completely over Mary Sued her based on what I've heard in the last one. I'm like, how in the hell is she able to learn the Force so fast? Like, how is she able to gain the Force so fast and she didn't have to learn it? Luke Skywalker had to learn it. Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader, had to learn it, and all the other Jedi. But she just comes in out of nowhere. We don't know who she is, and then she's able to wield the damn lightsaber. You can thank Kathleen Kennedy for that. That's why a lot of people don't like her now. And that goes for men and women not liking her. Just in case people think that it's only men that don't like her, women don't like her just as much. Because a lot of women don't like the Mary Sue shit. But anyway, this is leading up into my point here. So Bob Iger has stepped down as CEO of Disney. As you all know, being a CEO of any company is hard work. But being the CEO of Disney, that's just astronomical tons of work on your back that you have to do. You're overseeing a lot of things. And they got a new CEO, and his name is Bob. I can't pronounce his last name. It begins with a C. It's another Bob. And they got him in, and now Bob Iger is going to be the new chairman. He's like the executive chairman for the company. And mind you, Bob Iger's contract is up for being the CEO, or it was at the end of the year. So he got out a few months early. Meanwhile, Kathleen Kennedy, who has single-handedly ruined the last trilogy of Star Wars to the point where people are fatigued with Star Wars and said we don't want to work on anything else Star Wars related film-wise for another couple of years, her contract as president of Lucasfilms is up at the end of next year in 2021. So instead of asking the person who was the cause for the trilogies to be the way that they were, those last three, to step down from her position, the CEO of Disney steps down to be chairman and be a part of the creative department. Why is this? Because now he has to clean up the mess that this feminut, Kathleen Kennedy, made. Let me say that again. This man who was the CEO of Disney, whose contract was up at the end of the year, had to pull out early and give up his power to another person so he could clean up the mess of a woman who is a feminist. Clean up her mess. And while she's still able to maintain her job for another whole year. She's not even going to clean up her own mess. He's going to clean it up. Whether voluntarily or involuntarily, that's messed up. This is why I can't stand many or a good 99.9% of these feminists. They claim they don't need a man to do nothing, that they are, I'm every woman and all this, that, and the third. But when they create a mess, then they want a man to come in and clean up behind them. Like they're a petulant child that can't do for themselves. And she's the president of Lucasfilms, a company that was started by, again, a man that has been ran successfully since the 70s, and in just 5 short years. Well, 4, because we're talking about 2015 to 2019. In 4 short years, she managed to tarnish most of the legacy that is the Star Wars franchise. So how do you take something that started in 1977 and ran through years-wise to 2005, because I think that's when the Revenge of the Sith came out. And we're talking, so you're talking from 1977 to 2005. You're talking about almost 40 years, about 38 years worth of filmmaking, and ruin it in 4. Like, how is that possible? That's her fault. Now a guy has to come in and clean up her mess. Now, y'all, like I said, now you see why I don't like these feminists. They claim they can do all these things and want these like that, but when they mess up, they need a man to assist them, and that's about all they'll need a man for, is to assist them when they fuck up. This is probably why they don't want a woman as president right now, because they know if she messes up, then she's not going to know what to do, and she'll need a man's assistance to help clean up her mess. I.e. Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady. I heard that they did not like her over there. They said that she damn near ruined the Parliament by herself, almost. If you don't believe me, go and watch that movie, The Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher, who was played by Meryl Streep. And you'll see how ruthless this woman was. And it was like, ever since then, I don't think they ever had another female president or prime minister or whatever they call their presidents over there. And I can see why. She left a bad taste in their mouths. But I cannot stand Kathleen Kennedy. I really don't. And I'm a casual Star Wars fan. I like the films, but I'm not like a diehard fan. But the fact that this man has to step down from his position to help you clean up the mess you did, and you don't have to step down from yours to clean up your own mess, that's messed up. That's crazy. But this is what happens when you live in a gynocratic society. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter if you haven't done so already. Have your notifications turned on, and I'll talk to you in the next one.